In this video, we're going to recap the futures markets for Monday, June 24th, 2024. Guys, as usual, this video is going to start with a reading and a recap of the latest market headlines. I then will move into the charts. So if you're watching this on your phone or if you don't have access to the video, feel free to listen along, as the start of the video will not require that you watch the screen. With that being said, guys, as we move on to the later part of the video, when I get into some of the charts, you may want to pull up the screen. Okay, guys, it is R Trades back here with another futures market recap video. It is Monday, June 24th, 2024. We're going to head over here to Financial Juice and look at some of our economic data ahead. Okay, guys, so on the left side of the screen, you can see listed under June 25th some of the items that are coming out in terms of our economic calendar. We have Japanese leading indicator change coming out, Japanese change short sales, Swedish PPI, Spanish GDP quarter over quarter. That's going to be an interesting one. Hong Kong imports, Hong Kong exports. And then at 0400, we have ECB's Sternanus speaks. We have the Italian 2-year bid to cover, Italian 2-year BTP yield, German 2-year Bund yield, German 2-year bid to cover. These are all overnight. At 0600, we have the Fed's Bowman speaking. Then we have the Canadian CPI year over year, which could have an impact on the Canadian dollar futures. Forecasted at 2.6%, previous at 2.7%. This is at 0730, so coming up next tomorrow morning. Canadian CPI month over month, forecast is at 0.3%, previous at 0.5%. Going on there, guys, we have a load of Bank of Canada data after that. Another very hot item coming in is the USCB consumer confidence, forecasted at 100, previous at 102. That's at 0900 Central Time tomorrow. That's 1000, so right after, about 30 minutes after the market opens. After that, guys, we have the US 2-year note, the high yield, previous at 4.91%. We have the US 2-year note bid to cover, previous at 2.410. ECB's Nagel speaks, Fed's Bowman speaks. And then at 2030, so after the U.S. stock market close tomorrow, we have the Australian CPI year over year. Okay, guys, let's turn to some of our market headlines here on Financial Juice. Glad that you're with me. Okay, Apple, Meta, not in talks currently for AI partnership. That's from Bloomberg News. Investor alert, Robbins, Geller, Rudman, and Dowd LLP announces that Toyota Motor Corporation investors with substantial losses have opportunity to lead the Toyota class action lawsuit. U.S. urges Israel defense minister to avoid Lebanon escalation. That's from the South China Morning Post. American jet fuel finally sees COVID rebound. That's from oil price. U.S. screens record-setting 2.99 million air passengers in a single day. That's interesting. Okay, guys. Those are our market headlines here that I can find on Financial Juice. Julian Assange reaches plea deal with the United States, in NBC reports. Well, that's pretty interesting. All right, let's head over to the Bloomberg Close. Wrong Way, the Bloomberg Close Americas edition, June 24, 2024, by Carrington York and Punya Basin. Good afternoon. Here's what you know to end your day. NVDA enters a technical correction. Canada plans to curb Chinese EV imports, and the Carolina Panthers want a stadium renovation. NVIDIA plunged, weighing on the broader stock market and raising concern about how long the tech rally can last. The chipmaker entered a correction, dropping more than 10% in 3 trading days and erasing about $430 billion in market value. A wrong way leveraged bet contributed to last week's surge before the wipeout, with the Granite shares 2x long NVIDIA daily ETFs seeing a record $743 million inflow. Despite the rout, the fund is still up about 330% this year. Stocks lost traction, a sign that the tech industry that's powered the bull market might be due for a breather. Traders piled into bullish NVIDIA wagers right before the rout. Okay, guys, what else is happening? Canada is clamping down on imports of Chinese-made EVs. The government launched a 30-day public consultation period, the first step before tariffs. Earlier, China hinted at perks for Germany's luxury car manufacturers if Berlin convinces the EU to drop levies on Chinese electric vehicle exports. The Federal Reserve showed other U.S. regulators a weaker version of a bank capital overhaul. The proposed changes may mean banks will have to pony up only 5% more in additional capital instead of a proposed 16%. All right, folks. Now we're going to head over to Tradingview and look at some of our headlines here on Tradingview. We are going to start with our index headlines. News highlights from Dow Jones Newswire's top global markets news of the day. NVDA, this is from 1800 Central Daylight Time, so just a few minutes ago. From Dow Jones Newswire's news highlights, top global market news of the day, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. NVIDIA pulls S&P 500 and the NASDAQ lower. The broad stock market index fell 0.3%, and the NASDAQ composite dropped 1.1% as NVIDIA shares extended their recent pullback. Fed's Goolsbee lays out dovish case for rate cuts, flags, quote, a couple of warning signs for economy. Chicago Fed President Austan Goolsbee said Monday there are new signs of stress on the U.S. economy that should make the central bank at least wonder if its policy rate needs to be as high as it currently is. Bank stocks gain after report about lighter capital requirements. Bank stocks gained Monday after Bloomberg News reported that U.S. Federal Reserve is circulating a lighter version of its proposed capital requirements that have drawn opposition from the industry. Bank of Canada looks for wage growth to slow further, Macklem says. Wage growth, which is well above the pre-pandemic average, is showing signs of moderating, the central bank governor said. Ocean shipping prices are pushing toward pandemic-era highs as congestion swells. Disruptions from diversions around the Red Sea violence are backing up vessels with the peak shipping season still looming. All right. That's going to be it for this headline, guys. Let's head over and see if there's any other index news. New Zealand stocks fall for third session. Australian shares opening for a rise. Tech that. This is an hour ago from Reuters. NVIDIA slump sours move. The Wall Street Journal dollar index falls 0.22% to 100.14. That's from Data Talk. Okay, guys, let's head over to the bonds. See if we have any bond headlines. Financial market participants are wary of these three political risks. This is from MarketWatch. Biden-Trump debate, elections in France and UK are all on tap. Investors are facing an intense stretch of political events over the next few weeks, ranging from Thursday's debate between President Joe Biden and Republican Donald Trump to elections in France, the UK, and Iran. It all adds up what may turn out to be a heady period, particularly for the global bond market and round-the-clock currency market, strategists said. As Thierry Wiseman, global FX and rate strategist at Macquarie, put it on Monday, quote, "We are entering a politically charged 3-week period for markets, culminating in the July 15th to 18th Republican National Convention. Financial markets were relatively calm on a day devoid of major market catalysts, belying the possible impacts of the political events that lie ahead. Major U.S. stock indexes, Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's the DJI, SPX Composite, closed mostly lower, though the Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced 260.5 points, or 0.7%, and yields on 2-year through 30-year treasuries finished little changed. Starting on Thursday, investors will be watching the U.S. presidential debate between Biden and Trump in Atlanta for clues to their contrasting policies on taxes and tariffs, which are likely to have a, quote, considerable effect on the economy and could sway the markets alone, according to Jason Pride, Chief of Investment Strategy and Research, and Michael Reynolds, Vice President of Investment Strategy at Glen Mead, which manages about $45 billion in assets. Thursday's debate is the first of the 2024 presidential race, and national polls currently give the incumbent Democratic president a slight edge over his Republican challenger. Meanwhile, the French political process remains a potential trigger for a flight to liquidity trade in the bond market as the first of 2 election dates approaches on Sunday. And in the UK, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has called for an election next Thursday, July 4th, that he's now expected to lose. While the UK gilt or government bond market has been, quote, indifferent to a win by Sunak's Conservative Party or the Labour Party, a victory by the latter would likely be seen in the currency market as having a positive impact on the British pound, according to a team at TD Securities. With regard to this Sunday's first round of the French election, quote, the latest polls show that Marine Le Pen's far-right RN party remains in the lead at 35%, followed by the left-wing party and President Emmanuel Macron's centrist coalition. Barring a change in these poll figures before the weekend, political uncertainty may well keep a lid on the Euro-USD in the coming days. Quote, the UK election on July 4 is expected to produce a landslide win by the Labour Party, and, quote, we could also see some negative spillover on the British pound, a view which contrasts with that of the one held at TD Securities. Another event to watch this week is the Iranian presidential election on Friday, although reports suggest that a runoff is likely. Okay, guys, let's head over to our Forex headlines, see if there's anything interesting here before we head over to the charts. 2 hours ago from Dow Jones Newswires, the Wall Street Journal Dollar Index falls 0.22% to 100.4 from Data Talk. The Wall Street Journal Dollar Index is down 0.22 point or 0.22% today to 100.14. Key bullet points here: largest one-day point and percentage decline since Wednesday, June 12, 2024. Snaps a three trading day winning streak, off 0.77% from its 52-week high of 100.92 hit Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. Up 5.86% from its 52-week low of 94.6 hit Thursday, July 13th, 2023. Rose 2.97% from 52 weeks ago. Month to date, it is up 0.72%. Year to date, it is up 4.31 points or 4.5%. Okay, guys, let's head to our crypto headlines. Bitcoin analyst forecasts BTC price drop to $50,000 before parabolic run begins. That's from Cointelegraph. All right, let's head over to all of our headlines and see anything else here that we want to mention. Great Resignation enters third year as workers embrace AI and upskilling. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our news headlines today. Let's head over to the charts. Look at our gainers and losers here as we enter into the early overnight session, guys. So our greatest gainer since the markets have reopened, that is in the early Asian trading, is going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin now trading back up to $60,140. That is on the futures. We had a pretty significant down day yesterday. Now looking at our hourly chart, we had a gap up on the resettlement period, still trading well below that 20 periods, well below the 20 period simple moving average, but coming off the lower Bollinger Band. From an hourly ICT perspective, we have a sell side inefficient wick here, and the consequent encroachment of that inefficient long wick comes in at 58,840. We also have sell side liquidity at 58,350. So again, sell side liquidity below our most recent low, and we have an inefficient long wick to the downside from an ICT perspective, with the consequent encroachment of that at 58,840. Looking at our greatest loser on the early Asian trading, that's going to be copper futures. Copper futures approaching that lower Bollinger Band on an hourly time frame, trading below the 20-period simple moving average. We now have 4 straight hours down on copper futures. Last print at $4.41. That's down 0.6% or 0.6% in early Asian trading. From an ICT perspective, we're coming up on a rejection block here at 4.41. Additionally, we're at a fair value gap right around the consequent encroachment of a fair value gap here at 4.41. That fair value gap was between an hourly candle on the 18th of June, which I have highlighted here with the cursor. That's our buy-side fair value gap from the 18th of June. Market currently bouncing off that just a bit. Sell-side liquidity located at 4.4035. Okay, guys, with that being said, let's have a look at some of our Asian shares, which are coming up in the near future, guys. Nikkei is up 30 points. That's 0.08% in early Asian trading. From an hourly chart, we are trading below that 20-period simple moving average, trading in the lower quadrant of the Bollinger Bands. From an ICT perspective, we have sell-side liquidity most immediately at 38,700. We have buy-side liquidity at 39,015. That's pretty far up there. Sell-side fair value gap is located here. Consequent encroachment of that's going to be at 38,875. Additionally, we have a long wick inefficiency, which is located here. So from an ICT perspective, we can see that the market might be interested in coming back into this long wick inefficiency and running on that sell side liquidity. So we could see some downward movement from an ICT perspective on the Nikkei. Let's have a look at yen futures. As everyone has realized by now, there's a lot of headlines around whether the Bank of Japan is going to intervene to prop up the yen. From an ICT perspective, we have an hourly very long wick inefficiency that we made yesterday during the overnight session. As of right now in early Asian market trading, the yen has been trading lower for 4 straight hours, coming up on a rejection block here at spot 00634. We also have sell-side liquidity below at spot 006332. That sell-side liquidity is not too far away. So from an ICT perspective, we have reasons to move higher and fill in this long wick inefficiency. We have sell-side liquidity to the downside as well. Also, guys, as you can see, clear downtrend here on the Japanese yen. We have lower highs and lower lows. However, as of yesterday's trading, we may have entered into a technical correction or a trading range, as we did end up putting a higher low. Not really a higher high, but we put in a higher low. So we could be entering a period of consolidation on the yen. Finally, let's have a look at some of our stock indices here in early Asian market trading. The ES was down yesterday, but paring back some of those losses here in early Asian trading, coming off that lower Bollinger Band, that second standard deviation Bollinger Band, just coming off of that now. From an ICT perspective, we are coming into a sell-side fair value gap, and if that fair value gap were to invert and the market were to basically do something like this, come up, trade, do like that, we could see some movement higher. Sell-side liquidity is going to be located at 55.0975. That's going to be our immediate sell-side liquidity. From an ICT perspective, we also have a buy-side fair value gap here on the left, which I'm showing the consequent encroachment of that here on the screen. So from an ICT perspective, I would say that more likely than not, we're likely to see some consolidation in the overnight session, but if this immediate fair value gap inverts, could see some movement higher. Okay, guys, anything else I want to mention here in the overnight session? Let's have a look at gold futures. Gold futures trading above the 20-period simple moving average, just coming off some highs that we made on Monday, paring back some of those gains. Last print at $2,343. From an ICT perspective, I would say that sell-side liquidity is located at 2328.6. Buy-side liquidity is closer at 2,348.3. We have a large sell-side fair value gap here above current market price, and looks like we came and filled in some of this long wick inefficiency here, which I'm showing with the cursor. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it for early Asian trading here. This is R Trades with another video giving you the fundamental outlook as well as some technical perspective on the futures markets. If you like this content, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and use the affiliate links in the description box below.